What's up, co-counsels? I'm 2-3 minutes late. I'm dragging today. I'm really exhausted. All right, let us get to Karen Reed. We want the proceedings from Monday. I don't remember when was Monday. I'm not sure. Let me look at my calendar. So that was the 2nd. All right. So it would be it wouldn't be. Would it be this? I don't know. Well, let's find out. I thought they put the date up here, so that's not it. So would this be it? No, that's not it. One moment. I could have done this behind the scenes, but I did not want to keep anybody waiting. Is this it? Hold on. Was that Monday? Yeah, okay. All right, so of interest here is really Officer D. I don't know if it's Denver, Divas. I just recall seeing a D, okay? Let us get in. Oh, I did not watch a Monday at all. Do we want to get into the friend or not? Okay, let's stick to what we said. I'm easily distracted. Let's first go to Officer Diva. There we go. All right, let's focus on her testimony. I can be up here for about an hour, and then I have chaperoning duties. Let's see. Okay, he gets off the stand, and then she gets on the stand. All right, let's go.
Step up, face the clerk, and raise your right hand, please.
You shall not tell the other side of the court during the case down here, and the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Good morning. Morning.
Morning, ma'am.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Good morning. Could you state your name and spell your last name for the jurors, please?
Kelly Dever, last name
Okay.
Dever.
And what do you do for a living? Presently?
I'm a police officer,
Where are you employed?
Boston Police.
How long have you been so employed with the Boston Police Department?
2 years and a little over.
That's I stated that incorrectly. When was that? 2 nights ago? Because I thought she was a former officer. She's a current officer, and that's not good.
Over 2 months.
And the reason it's not good is because wait, she only worked for 2 months? Hold on. What?
Ever.
And what do you do for a living? Presently?
I'm a police officer,
Where are you employed?
Boston Police.
How long have you been so employed with the Boston Police Department?
2 years and a little over 2 months.
Oh, okay. 2 years and 2 months. I was like, wait, what?
Where'd you work before that?
I worked for the Canton Police.
Okay.
Were you a sworn officer at that time?
At what time? When I was employed there?
When you were employed by the Canton Police Department?
Yes, I was.
As a sworn police officer?
Yes.
Okay. What was your duty assignment in January of 2022?
I was a patrol officer.
Okay. So she was just.
You're familiar with the case that's presently before the bench, correct?
That makes me wonder, why did she leave Canton to go to Boston?
In some capacity, yes.
Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
Yes.
All right. Did you ever prepare any kind of report based on any of your conduct or your connection with this case, if there was any connection with this case, while you were a Canton police officer?
No.
Were you ever interviewed?
So there's no report. Okay.
By any member of the Canton Police Department in furtherance of their investigation related to the death of John O'Keefe?
No.
Were you ever interviewed by the Massachusetts State Police?
No.
Let me finish the question. I got to finish the question, then you can answer. It works a little better that way. Were you ever interviewed by any member of the Massachusetts State Police in furtherance of their investigation into the death of John O'Keefe?
Comments.
No.
Were you ever interviewed by?
Actually, I'm gonna go on Reddit. I do get distracted. I want to get on Reddit to see what folks had to say about her testimony, because I did not watch this. The only thing I saw was David Muir on the news, ABC. He talked about her testimony for like 2 minutes.
Either the Canton Police Department or the Massachusetts State Police with regard to any of your observations on January 28th or January 29th, 2022?
No,
And you never wrote a report about your observations or any observations that you had on January 28th or January 29th, 2022, correct?
no,
That was a double negative. Let me try that a different way. Did you ever write a report about your observations related to January 28th, 2022, January 29th, 2022?
no,
Thank you. As a matter of fact, the first time you were ever interviewed in connection with anything having to do with this case or this investigation related to the death of John O'Keefe was by a separate law enforcement agency, not the Massachusetts State Police, not the Canton Police Department, correct?
yes,
That was in August of 2023. Is that right?
yes,
Do you remember the exact date?
no.
August 9th, 2023. Does that sound right? About right?
I know it was the summer of 2023. So
Do you think it would refresh your recollection to take a look at a report of that interview?
yes, because I've never seen it before.
Oh,
Just insofar as the date is concerned, may I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at the bottom of that page. Just glance at that and tell me once you familiarize yourself with that face page of that report. Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have that date in mind?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection that it was August 9th, 2023?
Yes.
Okay. I want to direct your attention, Officer Dever, to January 28th, 2022. Where were you working? What was your duty assignment on that day, January 28th, moving into January 29th?
Well, 3.5 years later, I remember I was on patrol. I don't remember anything further about this night.
Did you work overnight, like a late shift going into the morning of January 29th?
That was my assigned shift, so
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Who else was working with you on that particular day, if you recall?
I don't recall.
Sergeant Good,
Okay, good memory.
Officer Mullaney, Officer Seraph, and Officer Pasquarelli.
And what generally was your assignment when you went into work that night on January 28th?
Patrol.
At some point, either that evening in the early morning hours of January 29th, did you note that a call came in related to a person found in the snow, unresponsive in the snow?
Yes.
Okay, why is it
Tell me about that.
respond?
The nature of the call and where were you?
I was in my cruiser. A call came in that said person in a snowbank, something along those lines. Immediately followed by that transmission, my sergeant requested that I come to take over dispatch.
Okay.
Is that Sergeant Good?
Yes.
Okay. Did you in fact respond back to Canton PD to take over dispatch?
Yes, so I was already in the parking lot of the Canton Police while this took place, so I was already at the station.
Did you note whether or not Sergeant Good and or any of the others responded to the location while you stayed back to handle dispatch at the police department?
Yes, that's why I went inside so he could respond.
Were you aware that Sergeant Good, did you have any knowledge at that time that Sergeant Good was familiar with or knew who Brian Albert was?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you know who Brian Good was familiar with or knew who Brian Albert was?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you know who Brian Albert was at
No.
that time?
No,
Do you now? At least
because of
familiar
this
with the name.
case, yes.
I spoke over you. I'm so sorry. Based on this case, you familiar with the name?
The name, yes.
Did you know Kevin Albert?
No. Oh, the detective Kevin Albert. Yes, I did.
Correct. How did you know Kevin Albert?
He was a detective for the Canton Police.
Were you aware of his relationship to Brian Albert at that time?
No.
Are you now aware
Okay.
of his relationship with Brian Albert?
Yes, from the media.
And what is that relationship as you know it?
Sustained.
Did you know Brian Higgins at that time?
Yes, in passing.
I'm not asking if you were social friends, asking if you knew who he was.
Yes.
How'd you know who Brian Higgins was?
He had an office in the Canton Police.
Was he a sworn police officer?
Not for us.
Was he a sworn federal agent?
Yes.
Worked for ATF?
Yes.
Okay. How long had you known and been familiar with Brian Higgins? Say, for instance, by sight, to be able to recognize who he was.
Sometime during 2020 is when I was probably first familiarized with him, because that's when I was employed with the Canton Police Department first.
Okay. Pass him in the hallways, hi, bye, things like that.
Yes.
Sustained as to form, Mr. Jackson.
Understood. Did you know him by sight?
Yes.
Could you recognize him if you saw him?
2.5 years later, no, but at the time, yes.
I'm not asking you about right now. I'm asking you back in January 2022. Could you recognize him by sight?
Yes.
Did you know who Kenneth Berkowitz was?
Yes.
Who's Kenneth Berkowitz?
He was the chief of the Canton Police.
Obviously very familiar with him. He was your boss, correct?
Yes.
When Sergeant Good instructed you to take over dispatch, explain what that meant.
It meant I walked inside and I sat down in a dispatch room.
Describe the dispatch room. What did that array look like?
There was chairs and computers.
Monitors?
Yes.
Does the dispatch area also have monitors of internal security camera footage?
Are we about to say something?
I know there was camera screens, but I don't know if they were on TVs or computers or where in dispatch they were. I don't recollect where they were or how they would be accessed. They were in the room somewhere. I can't be more specific. I don't remember.
But you do recall seeing that there were monitors that were showing different views of internal security camera footage of Canton PD, correct?
The specifics, no. Were there? Yes.
I don't know what you mean by specifics. I'm asking you, were there monitors that you could look at that showed security camera footage from inside Canton PD, different areas, hallways, corridors, offices, the Sally port, for instance?
So 2.5 years since
You keep saying 2.5 years later.
So let her finish her answer and then ask a question.
Sure.
It's been years since I've been in that room. They were somewhere in the room. Where cameras were in the Canton Police Department, I don't recall. The media's provided me information since this case took place, and I can't speak on what's my recollection and what's been media provided.
Dang.
There are cameras. I don't know where on my memory
So,
where they are.
so has the media informed you that there were internal security
Objection.
monitors at the dispatch location?
So the objection is sustained. Next question.
What do you recall
Use the mic.
from the dispatch room, as you put it? What do you recall being there in terms of monitors?
I remember there was a computer screen that had information about current calls, and then there was a 911 screen next to that. Those are the two computers that I would have been positioned in front of during this time.
It's interesting. She pronounces her last name Devers and not Devers, like Gail Devers. I think the spelling is the same. Let me look it up.
As
I'm a
a
huge track and field fan. Okay, I've literally watching an interview. It's pretty old though. A Gail Devers interview by the Bahamian. It's Justin Gatlin and another athlete. I don't remember his name. He's called. He goes by the Wonder. I know he has a really good beard. He has a really good beard.
dispatch officer. By the way, you were a sworn officer
Yeah.
Yes.
at that time, correct? Uniform, badge, gun, the whole works, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they spell their last names similar, with the exception of the S.
Had you ever been in Sallyport at Canton PD?
Yes.
What's the Sallyport?
A Sally port is a garage, essentially.
Okay. You're aware that the Sallyport garage had a camera, a security camera?
It would make sense because that's where we bring prisoners to drop them off.
Well, more than just makes sense. I'm asking you, do you recall that it had cameras that serviced the Sallyport garage? Security cameras.
It's where we brought prisoners, so there
Oh,
would be
Rodney
cameras,
Green.
yes.
There we go. I should be ashamed. Rodney Green is Justin Getlin's podcast co-host.
Okay, you're saying there would be cameras. I'm asking you, were there cameras?
According to the media, yes. I've seen the footage, so yes, there were cameras.
All
So-
right, so hold on. So I'm going to strike that, officer. You have to answer the question based on your own independent knowledge. Okay? And if you
Dang,
don't
she's
have the,
tired.
but you can't reference what you know from the media.
All right. There were cameras in the Sallyport.
Thank you. Ms. Dever, do you want to be here today?
I have no relation to this case,
I
so
didn't ask you that. I asked
Wait,
you,
what's
do you
the
want to be here? Ms. Dever, do you want to be here today?
I mean, it's kind of obvious. What does it say tonight, though? It's obvious that she has no interest in being on the stand.
I have no relation to this case,
I
so
didn't ask you that. I asked you if you want to be here today.
Objection, this isn't direct.
So it's your witness.
I understand.
She can, no comments, just questions, not, I understand that.
Do you want to be here today now?
I am put on the stand in a murder trial.
So
I
she
don't
was
know why-
trying to figure out how to answer. Okay, got it. How to respond.
Do you want to be here today now?
First caption is wrong.
I am put on the stand in a murder trial. I don't know why I'm here. I have no connection to this case.
You have no idea why you're here?
You've never talked to me. Nobody on the fence seems talked to me since prior to the first trial. So I don't have any idea why I'm here.
No clue whatsoever, as you sit here, why you might have been called to the stand.
No.
Okay.
Are you uncomfortable testifying?
No, it's part of my job.
You're a professional police officer, correct?
Correct.
That means you're a professional witness to a certain degree, correct?
In the crimes that I've gone on the stand before, yes, I have been.
And you understand the oath.
Yes, I do.
What is that oath?
The oath is to tell the truth.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
I'll rephrase it. Is there more to that oath when you raise your right hand as a witness?
I'm objecting.
So I'm gonna see it's.
What on earth is going on? Our girl said she does not know why they called her to the stand. Let's fast forward a little bit. Dang, they're gone for quite some time. Hold on.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. One of the cameras, one of the monitors that you had access to back on January 29th did show the footage from, or did it show the footage from that, one of the other Sallyport from, or you had access to back on January 29th did show the footage from, or did it show the footage from that, one of the other Sallyport garage cameras?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure, it was a little bit clunky on my part.
Let's ask the question.
Did one of the monitors that you looked at, that you had access to at the dispatch area, did it show the video footage or the video feed from the Sallyport garage?
Ma'am, answer.
So I already said I don't remember where in dispatch the screen with the cameras was. There was a camera in the Sallyport. So if I'm going to make the assumption, then yes, of
Don't
course.
assume.
But now that's an assumption.
I'm not asking you for an assumption now. I'm asking you, did one of the feeds, now we've talked about the camera, the other side of the camera is the feed. Do you recall whether or not there was footage that you could see on a monitor in the dispatch area that showed the Sally port.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
Like clarification.
How long?
So, look, I don't know what that means. So what do you
Right.
mean you're going to go with yes? Is your answer yes?
What's going on? Okay, what's going on? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
What's the problem?
What time about
What is the problem?
did you take over the dispatch desk that morning?
Immediately following when the 911 call came in.
Would have been 6-ish in the morning. Does that sound about right?
Sometime I would say towards the later of my shift, but it was the middle of winter and dark out. So I don't know if it was 4, 5, 6.
Understood. But it was still dark out.
Yes.
Once you took over the dispatch desk, did you stay there even past your normal shift ending to support the investigation that was ongoing?
Not to support the investigation. I was just on overtime.
Okay. So you stayed past your normal end time of your shift that day.
Yes, on overtime.
You stayed into the afternoon, correct?
I believe the shift ended at 3:45 p.m. for the Canton police.
But you stayed past your ending shift time, correct?
Objection.
I'm sorry, I'll rephrase it. Did you stay past your ending shift time?
For my regular shift, yes, because I was on overtime on the day shift.
Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sally port while you were on that shift?
So we've discussed this previously.
What do
I
you
can't
mean?
make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a memory, that it was a distorted
What
memory.
on earth is
Therefore, I
going
can't.
on?
Because
Hold on.
Pardon me. Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sally port while you were on that shift?
Okay,
So
so
we've discussed-
that's a yes or no response. And if you need to, I don't know about elaboration, but I just
this previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that
so is she saying that it's the defense that told her
it was not a memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie. I
so
cannot make that.
is she saying that the defense told her to get on the stand and lie? What exactly is Callie talking about? Because Callie, there's a lot going on with Callie.
Statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised
Oh,
that that would be a
wow.
lie. I cannot make memory was not,
Who advised
and
you?
because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie. I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
Ms. Dever,
Okay,
I've never
so, oh my goodness, what on earth is going on?
asked you to make a statement one way or the other on the stand. I'm asking you an open-ended question.
Okay,
Did
so
you,
prior
let
to
me
the
ask you a
first,
question. Did you observe something in the Sallyport garage on January 29th, 2022 that you found unusual, that stuck out in your mind?
See, yes or no?
given factual information
Man,
that
this is so. She's difficult to listen to. And part of that difficulty again is because I'm assuming it's because she is still a police officer and she probably still wants to maintain her job. And I'm not saying that, I'm not assuming that her testimony would be favorable to Karen Reed or Alan Jackson, right? But it's like pulling teeth. She's difficult to listen to and follow, and it's difficult for her to answer questions.
makes it so I know I did not. No.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
Do you remember being
Why
interviewed on
don't you just say that?
August 9th, 2023?
I do.
That was by a separate law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
2 separate law enforcement agents. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were advised during the course of that interview on
Okay, so 2 things. She said when Jackson gave her the statement to review, I don't know if it's her statement or somebody else's statement, right, as it relates to the date. She said she's never seen the statement before. So I am assuming that once she's confronted with whatever it is that Jackson intends or will confront her with, she's going to say that it's not a statement and doesn't know the contents thereof. That's what I'm assuming.
August 29th of something, correct?
Can you rephrase
I'm sorry,
that?
August 9th.
So what was I advised of? Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Wait, what was the
Yes, I
question?
did. Information team.
Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie.
Okay, so basically she's saying that the information that you relayed to the separate law enforcement agency was not based on her own memory. It sounds like she made a statement based on either what she was told by the media or what she was told by the defense. That's what it sounds like to me. And apparently she consulted, everybody had to lawyer up. Everybody had to lawyer up in this case. So I guess she was concerned about perjury, and she was informed because, okay, you did not have an independent recollection. You did not have personal knowledge. And based on, I'm getting distracted because I'm signing up for something here. All right, let's get back.
Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our
Oh my goodness. All right, it's getting chippy.
phone call prior to the first trial if I didn't lie on the stand right now. I'm telling you, I did not see anything.
That's all.
Factually, I've been provided evidence by a timeline that it is not correct.
Ms. Dever, my question was this. Were you advised that it was a crime to lie to those law enforcement agents? Yes or no?
No.
They never told you, they never admonished you that it would be a crime to lie to them?
Objection.
Sustained. As to form, Mr. Jackson.
Sure. Did they advise you of anything? Any consequences of lying to them?
So we had a willing conversation.
Yes or no?
I don't recall.
So- Okay, there's your answer.
You don't recall if they advised you of anything?
No, because it
Okay,
wasn't.
As a trained law enforcement agent,
Go ahead and ask a question, but both of you, only one at a time, okay?
as a trained law enforcement officer, are you aware that it's a crime to lie to certain other law enforcement agents?
When you have intent to lie, yes.
Okay. So you knew that when you spoke to these law enforcement officers, correct?
Yes.
Did you tell these law enforcement officers that you, in fact, saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port with the
Objection.
SUV? May I finish my question? Saw
I'm so
Brian Higgins
distracted.
and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port with the
Objection.
SUV. May I finish my question?
He can finish this question. Go ahead.
Did you tell those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, that you saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time?
That was my recollection at the time.
So you did say that.
What did you say?
Alone with and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time.
That was my recollection at the time.
So you did say that.
At the time, that is what I recollected.
Okay. Did you indicate that you noted let me have just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
You and I spoke along with Mr. Unetti and Ms. Little on a conference call
I've always said this before. I get somebody else to do the investigating.
last year. sometime. You remember that?
Investigate.
Yes.
Between the time that you were interviewed on August 9th, 2023, and when we spoke sometime in maybe it was April or so of last year, does that sound about right?
Yes.
Did you have any conversation with any other party about your potential involvement in this case?
No.
Did you have a conversation with anybody in the commissioner's office at Boston Police Department?
Not about anything malicious.
I didn't use the word malicious. Why do you say malicious?
I had a conversation, but it was my department saying, regardless of what I need to say on the stand, they support me.
You were asked to go to the commissioner's office, correct?
Yes.
How long had you been on the Boston Police Department at the time that you were invited to go up to the Commissioner Michael Cox's office?
It had to have been before the first trial. So, and I know it was when the agency released information to outside people.
That's not my question.
Okay, so I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall how long you had been on the force generally at the time that you were called up to the commissioner's office on the Boston Police Department?
No.
Was it 5 years, 2 years, 2 months? Give me a ballpark.
So I've been on the department for 2 years and 2 months. I would say somewhere in the range of a year.
Okay. Did you find it unusual would you call yourself a rookie back then?
Yes.
Did you find it unusual that a rookie police officer would be called up to the commissioner's office personally to discuss a matter?
It was a reflection of how good of a leader he is. It was not anything that I found unusual, given the fact he is someone who wanted to show support for his officer.
So I'm guessing all of your training class or all of your entry classes at Boston PD, they've all gone up to the commissioner's office as well?
I don't know anyone else who's been in this particular circumstance.
Do you know anybody else who's been called up to the commissioner's office at your level at the Boston Police Department?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know of any of your colleagues with your level of experience that have been called up to the commissioner's office for a specific instance?
Objection.
That's sustained.
Now, when you went up to the commissioner's office, did you respond to his indication that he wanted to see you up in his office?
It wasn't a direct line of contact from him.
Okay. Did you respond? Did you ultimately go? That's what I mean by respond. Did you go to his office?
He's my boss, so yes.
Okay. And who else was in that office?
Me and him. The two of us.
General counsel of the Boston Police Department?
No, it's just me and him.
During the conversation that we had last year, did you say that general legal counsel for the Boston Police Department was also there?
Objection.
Not during
Sustained.
that conversation.
It's
Okay.
just, why are you so
Next
walking?
question.
Sure. Was there another time that you went to the commissioner's office where general legal counsel was there?
No.
Have you ever met general legal counsel from the Boston Police Department?
Yes.
Was it in the commissioner's office?
No.
When was it?
During my conversation with the agents.
You took a lawyer with you to talk to this other law enforcement agency?
I'm
Objection.
gonna see you at sidebar on this.
I don't know where that's- Not even cross-examination, it's direct. All right. How much longer?
Yes.
Thank you.
What's the question? Karen Reed is advising a lawyer what to ask.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Dever, when we left off, I was asking you about the meeting at the commissioner's office. And I want to clear this up. Was general legal counsel in that office or not when you had the meeting with the commissioner, Michael Cox?
No, it was just me and the commissioner.
At some point, did the commissioner say to you that Boston Police Department, insofar as your connection to this case is concerned, Boston Police Department fully supports you?
Yes.
Did he also say, do the right thing?
That's a direct quote. So I can't recollect if he said a direct quote 2 years ago.
A year ago, when you talked to us, the defense, did you tell the defense that when you were called up to the commissioner's office, he told you two things? Commissioner Cox told you, number one, Boston Police Department supports you, and Officer Deaver, do the right thing.
So he said my name
Oh, it is
correctly. He
Deaver.
said Dever.
Oh,
And
That's my mistake.
my bad. I was about to say. Okay, go back.
so he said my name correctly. He said Dever.
And Officer Deaver,
This argument.
do the right thing.
So he said my name correctly. He said Dever. And
That's my mistake. Let's see, you want me to repeat the question so I get
So,
that right?
Mr. Jackson, let's go ahead and answer, please.
yes, and he said nothing with the intent of guiding me one way or
I didn't
the
ask you
other.
what his intent was, madam. I asked you what he said to you. What were his words to you?
That he supports me.
And
Just wanted me to tell the truth up here.
his words were, do the right thing, correct?
I don't recall.
Okay.
How many other times have you testified in a court of law? During the course of your job?
Two dozen, 3 dozen.
And
Actually testified probably ballpark a dozen times.
in any of those other cases, has Commissioner Michael Cox called you up to his office to discuss your testimony in any of those cases? Yes or no?
Hey, what's going on? Something's coming.
That's not a yes or a no answer.
Well, yes, it actually is, Ms. Dever.
So no comments, okay? Just,
You understand the question?
The question, yes. The implication,
The question
What implication? I don't know. I'm gonna have to take a look at these comments because I don't know what's going on.
is, in any of those, I'm asking you an open-ended question. In any of those cases, Officer Dever, not including this one, has Commissioner Michael Cox ordered you up to his office to discuss your testimony?
no.
Thank you.
Wait, what? I don't see any timestamp.
all right, Mr. Brennan?
Oh, is that it?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name's Hank Brennan. We have never met before.
Correct.
Have you ever spoken to me before?
No.
So I'm puzzled by defense here a little bit. Again, they don't bear the burden of proof, so they can pretty much do whatever it is they want to do and bring on whoever they want to bring on in an attempt to draw an inference of reasonable doubt. I just don't know what her testimony contributed to their theory. I don't know what they were trying. I understand what they were trying to elicit from her, but they didn't get it. So let's see how this cross-examination goes.
The defense team, Attorney Jackson asked you some questions this morning.
Yes,
It sounds like you've met them before.
only by phone call.
How many times have you spoken to Attorney Jackson or anybody on the defense team before today?
Prior to the first trial, it was one phone call where we discussed the case. Outside of that, there may have been one other phone call before the first trial, but it wasn't a discussion of the case. And then prior to this trial, I received a phone call that said, confirm you will be available for one of these days.
Okay.
Other than confirming you'd be available, was there any discussion before this trial with anybody on the defense?
Not about this case, no.
So the conversation, the substantive conversation was before the past event last year?
Yes, a year and a few months ago.
You worked at the Canton Police Department?
Yes, I did.
You were a police officer?
Yes, I was.
And it sounds like on January 29th, 2022, at some point you were asked to attend the desk?
Yes,
The desk is at the front of the police department where you see people coming in and out of the police station?
yes, there's glass windows.
That night, did you have any difficulty with your memory of the specific things that you saw that night?
I was never on the scene. I never spoke to a witness. I never met a victim. I never spoke with a suspect. This was just a random shift for me 3.5 years ago at a desk that I wasn't asked to recollect for over or about 1.5 years after the occurrences of that night.
Did law enforcement, not the state police or Canton police, did law enforcement ask you about your memory sometime after that night?
The agents asked me about 1.5 years later. It was the August of 2023 meeting. So actually 1 year and 8 months later was the first time I ever spoke about this case.
When they spoke to you 1 year and 8 months later, did you suggest or share or tell them that you might have seen Chief Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins near the Sallyport area?
I told them on the day of that I saw that. I didn't make any indications it was anything bad. I just said I saw them. And it was in good faith that I believe.
This is somebody that still plans on keeping their job. Again, I don't know what she observed. She's saying she was interviewed 1 year and 8 months after the fact. She's trying to keep her job, though.
Believed I saw that. That was the extent of that comment.
So you had told them you believed you saw Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport area that day?
On January 29th during my day shift, yes.
Did you then learn any information that helped you remember when your shift ended that day?
So I know my shift ended at 3:45 p.m. So I know that I left then. That wasn't ever one of my questions. The defense released a timeline right prior to the first trial.
Okay, so the defense gave her a timeline, it sounds like.
Vehicle on that day did not arrive in the Sallyport until about 1.5 hours after I left, meaning it is not possible that I saw that.
When you saw this information, did you think about your memory?
So when I saw that information, it made it clear to me that there was a distortion of the timeline.
Okay.
And the false memory I created, I provided in good faith, but I retracted immediately, being provided evidence that it was not possible.
Who did you retract it to? Who did you tell?
So I told the defense team prior to the first trial. I also contacted the agents. The agents assured me that good faith.
Not what they said, but what you thought.
Right.
Not what they said to you. But,
Did they threaten to put you in jail when you told them about your mistake?
No, I even spoke with the legal team and they said that I made a comment in good faith. There was absolutely no way that I could be charged with anything of being malicious.
Before we get to your conversation
Oh,
with
Lord.
the defense team, now I wasn't there in that conversation, was I?
No.
You
Wait,
shared
what?
that-
Charged with anything of
Mr.
being
Mike.
malicious.
Before we get to your conversation
Mr.
with the
Mike.
defense team, now I wasn't there in that conversation, was I?
No.
Have you ever shared that conversation with me?
I've never shared it with anyone.
Before we get to that, you seem a bit anxious. Are you anxious?
Confused as to why I'm here, but anxious now.
Are you Have you received any negative pushback because of you sharing your memory?
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
Yeah, that's. I
No.
don't want to know. I'm invested. I'm invested at this
Have
point.
you received any attention, warranted attention from the public or media?
Not to my knowledge, but I didn't go digging to find it.
When you mentioned the media sent you something, what did they send you?
So I've seen things in the media. No media has ever been directed for me to find it. It's just this case is unavoidable as a local person on the internet.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know how the folks that are on the jury, I don't know how they possibly could have steered clear of this case, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Who sees things that get shared.
So inevitably, you were contacted by the defense.
Yes, prior to the first trial.
You mentioned that somebody.
So my 2 cents on the jury. I've said it before, but not directly. I think the venue of the current trial favors the defense and not the prosecution. I will elaborate further on that. I have about maybe 27 minutes, and then I need to go.
Had suggested you be charged with perjury.
Yes.
Who did that?
One of the male members of the defense team.
Wait, what?
Yes, prior to the first trial.
You
What's the
mentioned-
question? I'm sorry.
Internet who sees things that get shared.
So inevitably, you were contacted by the defense.
Yes, prior to the first trial.
You mentioned that somebody had suggested you be charged with perjury.
Yes.
Who did that?
One of the male members of the defense team.
Why did they say that to you?
Objection.
Sustained.
What were you discussing when you were threatened with perjury?
They were essentially telling me what they were looking for me to say on the stand.
What were they looking for you
Woo!
to say?
Woo! Hold on. And this is why, listen, I've said it over and over again. As an attorney, you do not want to be the one that's having direct contact with potential witnesses in this instance. You get an investigator, because, I mean, not even an investigator, like get somebody else to do what I'd essentially call the dirty work. Because under those circumstances, or under these circumstances, when Ms. Dever, not Dever, when Ms. Dever is asked about conversation she had with the other side, instead of pointing directly to the attorney, should then point to an investigator. So that would allow the attorney to distance him or herself from whatever the improper conduct is.
They were looking for me to say that I saw Higgins and Berkowitz
Woo!
in the garage with the car.
Did you share with them that
Hold on. I've said this before. I have said this before. I don't know what these people are thinking.
that wasn't an accurate memory?
Yes,
How did they respond?
they became very aggressive,
Ooh.
raised their voices. And the one word that I can very definitely remember is they said that they would charge me with perjury.
What did they want you to say?
They wanted me to say that statement, although I knew at that point it was not an accurate statement given the timeline.
That is not good. That is not good.
How many times were you
So
threatened?
why, and that's why I'm still kind of puzzled. Because to me, Alan Jackson did not get much out of this witness. He did not get much out of her. And that's why I'm kind of confused and conflicted about why he called her. Because now it sounds like she's really testifying in favor of the prosecution, even though they did not put her on the stand. And the problem with this is, if we go back to, what was the expert's name? DeSogra? Right. If we go back to Mr. DeSogra, when he, I think, is that it? I think that's how you say his name. If we go back to his testimony, the one thing that there are a lot of things he said that, not that I didn't agree with, but I questioned why he'd respond in that way. And one of those instances was when it sounded like he was frustrated, and he pretty much responded saying that as a contractor or as an expert, he does or says whatever it is that he's hired to do or say. And there's an extension of that. An argument can be made that the defense is pretty much, I mean, they have a dog in the fight. They have a dog in the fight, and their dog is Karen Reed. But to me, just based on what Kelly Dever is saying on the stand, it's sort of a repetition where the defense is spoon feeding what is this, their witnesses, and asking them to say certain things. And I don't like the appearance of that, because it takes the focus from the actual case and puts it on the defense attorneys.
With perjury.
At least once during the phone call, but once you say it once, it was enough.
What else happened during that phone call? Tell us the tenor of it. Tell us the content of it.
That was essentially the thing I remember most, because I understood that was what they wanted me to provide for the trial. I was never called for the first trial. Therefore, I'm not exactly sure what else there is for me to say when the one thing that they wanted on the stand, it is factually not correct and cannot be provided.
When they threatened you to charge you with perjury, tell us what your state of mind was, your demeanor.
What was the
Perjury.
question?
Correct and cannot be provided.
When they threatened you to charge you with perjury, tell us what your state of mind was.
Or state of mind?
Disappointment that legal counsel would go that route with someone who is, from a factual timeline, saying something is incorrect. There was no retracting based on emotion. It was very clear, given the timeline, it could not be
I want to
correct.
see this redirect.
Now, you work for the Boston Police Department.
Yes.
By the way, when you were with Canton, did you ever talk to anybody about reading or planting evidence or doing anything like that?
Planting evidence.
No, and this conspiracy theory came out a year and a half later. I was gone.
Did anybody
I see
from
what you-
Canton ever try to suggest to you should or shouldn't say something to help her side of the case?
No, because I was never spoken to until far after I left.
Did you ever see anybody in this case or any time when you were with Canton doing something improper and tampering with evidence?
Not in this case or any case.
If you had,
Brandon is really skilled. Again, if you're a staunch Karen Reed supporter, then you're not going to see that. But from a legal standpoint, and I'm still kind of conflicted. I'm trying to figure out Brandon or Lou, and I cannot figure out who the better prosecutor is. But Brandon he's really good. And because I was thinking about the Colin Griffith case, right? The Colin Griffith case actually had good lawyers on both sides. The defense were brilliant. The prosecutor was brilliant. But the difference in that case is the fact that, this is Florida. So, they have the whole stand your ground. The only critique I have of the prosecutor in that case, he was not very aggressive, or he did not aggressively cross-examine the decedent's mother or the defendant's grandmother. And I don't mean, yelling at her and the like, but he should have challenged her a bit more, pushed back a bit more.
and if you have reported it,
But what I was going to say is that prosecutor in the Griffith case, he pretty much, Alexa, stop. He pretty much had, for the most part, a straight shot. The evidence was definitely in his favor. The conviction again in that case is not just stand your ground, but the fact that the defense turned the entire case on its head by making the victim of that case, they basically put on trial. So that was the difference.
Yes.
Sustain.
Move the strike.
What's the question?
if you had, would you have reported it?
Yes.
Sustain.
Move the strike.
I'll strike that, ladies and gentlemen.
So you transferred to the Boston Police Department. Has anybody from the Boston Police Department ever suggested that you should lean your testimony one way or another?
No.
Has anybody from the Boston Police Department ever given you any rewards or favors for defying the defense position?
No.
Has anybody ever suggested that you should say anything whatsoever that would be unhelpful to the defense?
No.
Has the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office ever encouraged you to testify in any way other than the truth?
No.
When you spoke to the chief of the Boston Police Department,
Oh, I'm
did
getting
he in
distracted.
any way ever tell you to shape your testimony?
Not at all.
When you met with the Boston Police Department commissioner, did he ever ask you the substance of what your testimony would or wouldn't be under oath?
He made it very clear he did not want to discuss the case at all.
When you spoke to the people at the Boston Police Department, have they ever weighed in any way on what they think you should or shouldn't say?
No.
As you're testifying here today, are you under any tension, undue influence, stress, threat?
There is discomfort with the way that there's attempting to guide what my testimony is,
Who's they?
but I don't feel any need to fall into it because I'm here to speak the truth
If
on
I'm
this.
Brandon, I'm clarifying who they, like who, when you say they, who are you referring to? And she's going to say the defense attorneys.
And that's my livelihood.
That's what I said. This is somebody that's testifying to keep her job. Again, I do not know what she observed. I don't know what conversations she had with the defense attorneys, but she's pretty much said that what she told them was incorrect, and they brought her on the stand, and now she's throwing them under the bus.
When you were threatened with perjury, how long was that conversation with them?
I believe it was just about an hour on the phone. My phone log on my physical phone would not go back far enough for me to be able to retrieve the date or the time that that phone call took place.
That conversation lasted an hour?
Approximately.
How did it end?
What's the question?
Hour?
Approximately.
How did it end?
Oh, how did it end?
Not on a good note in the slightest. I remember it was a pretty hasty hang up on
Yeesh.
both ends.
Oh. Thank you for your time.
All right, that's it. All right, let's see redirect. What happens in redirect?
May we approach briefly?
Yes.
Approach. Why are you approaching? Ask her questions. Push back on what you just said. Approach. You need to push back. You need to, do something. Okay, hold on. Something's going on. I don't know. Let's move on. I'm trying to read.
Yes.
Voice.
Wait,
A male voice on that phone call threatened to charge you with perjury.
Alexa, stop.
Yes.
You're a police officer, correct?
Yes.
Who charges
Alexa,
people with
stop.
crimes?
Wait, what?
You're a police officer, correct?
Yes.
Who charges people with crimes?
If a crime is committed, there can be a report of it.
Who
So
charges people with crimes?
Prosecutor.
in the end, it's going to go through the court system. So the district attorney, the ADAs, that's who pursues it in a court
Right.
setting.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge anybody with a crime?
So you can seek out reporting someone for it.
Have you ever seen a defense attorney charge someone with a crime, ma'am?
Personally, no.
Right. Fact of the matter is, nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did. Yes.
But
I can't-
this is what I said. This is so it's use a nice word. Use a nice word. I cannot find a nice word, so I'm just gonna move forward. But we've talked, I don't remember, I've brought this up in a number of cases. I don't know why attorneys keep doing this. I don't know why they choose to put themselves on the chopping block. It could have easily been avoided by using an actual investigator to talk to this potential witness who, okay, she's now really a witness, because now it is so much more Alan Jackson fighting with a witness on the stand. He has zero control over this witness. Zero control.
Personally, no.
Right. Fact of the matter is, nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did. Yes.
That's it.
That's a stupid question. He should have known that she was going to answer in the affirmative.
Nobody ever threatened you with perjury, did they?
Oh, they did. Yes.
That's it.
'Cause
That's
I
it.
contacted the FBI regarding it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You have a report?
I have an email conversation where I
Oh,
sent
wow. Why are you going down this path? Why are you going down this path? Take the attention off yourself, take the attention off your client, and focus on the prosecution's case.
two questions I have.
This could have been avoided by not putting her on the witness stand to begin with. Again, I'm still puzzled as to why they put her on the stand, because they did not get out what they wanted to get out.
She responded, I will pass these along. I was contacted by their legal team. They reassured me perjury was not applicable because I made a statement in good faith. Upon further information, I retracted it, corrected it, and made it clear that I could no longer say it because I knew that it was not a
Okay,
clear
he's
reflection.
falling a little bit back there. What's going on? Yeah, what is going on? He's a little.
Because I made a statement in good faith. Upon further information, I retracted it, corrected it, and made it clear that I could no longer say it because I knew that it was not a clear reflection of the events that took place.
That's a mouthful.
Yes,
My question is, do you have a report from the FBI saying that you reported that someone on the Karen Reed defense team threatened to charge you, your words, with perjury? You have a
No.
report to that effect?
no,
No.
Okay. Here's what's striking, though. Okay, let's let Alan Jackson. I have like 12 minutes and I need to go. How much longer? Okay, not too much. It might be a bit longer. Let me just let them play this out because I need to go. I'll stop pausing.
Your job as a police officer is to be objective, isn't it?
Serve and protect, they say.
yes,
He said maybe. Sometimes.
You're not supposed to take an adversarial position against one side or the other, correct?
I don't.
Just right down the middle, just the facts as you know them, correct?
Yes,
You feel like you're being unbiased in your testimony here today in front of these jurors?
I'm telling the truth.
You think you're being fair to both sides?
All I have to do is tell the truth. If it's not perceived to be fair, that's someone else's opinion.
Let's talk about that truth for a second. What you told those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023 was, quote, you recalled seeing Higgins at the station later that day on Saturday.
Honestly, what he just needs to elicit is that she lied. That's it. She lied to whoever, and but it's also his witness, so he cannot ask direct questions. I don't know why they called this woman.
Dever thought it was also weird that Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz were by themselves in the sally port of the police department, by themselves while Karen Reed's car was parked inside. Higgins was a witness and present at the gathering where O'Keefe was found dead outside, and then he was in the presence of important evidence. You were sitting at dispatch by yourself and saw on the camera outside of the sally port when they walked in.
Objection to the entire reading.
So beyond the scope, so you have to keep it.
There's more to the statement, Your Honor. Do you remember making that statement to the officers?
My recollection of the time was that. So yes,
Okay, great. Did you go on to say,
Great.
speaking of being truthful, did you go on to say,
I'm objecting.
All right, so you have to ask differently, but I need to see you for a minute with this and bring that with you, please.
Okay. I guess they're not there for some time. I need to.
may I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave, but you recalled thinking to yourself that they were in the Sallyport for a wildly long time together in there, end quote. Did you say that?
That was my recollection of the time.
Okay.
So yes.
Have you ever heard of by the way, you indicated under questioning by Mr. Brennan that you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone
Wait,
call
what's the question?
what they wanted from me? You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? You remember that?
And I told you the same thing then.
That's not
Yes.
my question.
Objection.
Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question, Officer Dever. Did we read to you, were you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
What's up, Jason?
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
Woo! Hold on. I was not prepared for this. I was not. Yeah, baby, hold on. I need to go back. I really need to get. I'm on chaperone duty, so I need to leave here in a moment. But she said what? I was not prepared. She
Were
said
you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
and Jason said, "What's up, Jason?" Jason said that's a statement she gave to the FBI.
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
Yeah, I believe they said August 9 or August 29 or August 23, one of those 3 dates, or 2023.
Remember your name is Deborah.
Okay, so the answer is
I don't remember.
On that phone call.
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
Baby,
I can remember your name is Deborah.
okay. So
she's coming in
the
hot.
answer is I don't remember. No
The answer is a
comments.
little more than that, Judge. I think we all.
All right. So
I'll
no
ask
no
you.
comments, just questions, please.
Okay.
Do you recall us telling you that we were looking for the truth about
Houston
your
investigator.
Objection.
comments?
I'm going to allow it.
Dang, why did she look at Brennan like that? Why did she look at Brennan like that? And she said, "Bail me out."
Do you recall us telling you that we were looking for the
That's what
truth
she doesn't remember.
about your
Objection.
comments?
I'm going to allow it.
That we were looking for the truth.
Which I gave you. Yes.
Did you also say on that phone call something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one because I'm changing my testimony?
Changing, no. But you're trying to do that.
Did you say, I know you're going to tear me a new one?
That's what you're trying to do. So yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me a new asshole, didn't you?
I don't recall that. So that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth. I'm asking you if you remember saying
ask the
that
question.
during that phone call. Oh,
I don't
I know
recall.
you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall.
Okay. But you do remember saying something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of something called the blue wall of silence?
Objection.
Sustained.
Yeah, girl. She keeps looking to hang Brennan. She said, "You better do your job. Do something."
Do you think it's important for police officers to protect one another in the field and out?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you spoken with anyone? Not Mr. Brennan. He's covered that. You spoken with anyone from the district attorney's office about your involvement in this case? Ever?
No.
Never?
Unless you're going to provide a person. I've never talked to any of these people.
Have you talked to anyone at the DA's office at all in any regard?
Not to my recollection.
How about indirectly?
What do you mean by
Not
indirect?
to my knowledge.
Are you friends with any people that you're aware of?
No, Jackson. You guys should not have put this woman on the stand. Not one bit. There's no reason to call her.
That are connected to this case? Are you personal friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, personal
What's
friends
up,
with
Brooklyn?
anyone that's connected with this case?
Yeah, Brooklyn, I'm about to end in a little bit. because I'm not working today. I say that I'm not going into the office, but when I do get back, I have to finish something up. So I'm on chaperone duties today. Jason says she never tells Brandon no commentary. I don't remember that, Jason. Maybe not. I don't know. I watch there are days in the beginning I could sit and have this trial playing in the background, but I've come to a point where I'm a little too invested, so I don't put it on anymore because I'm not able to focus on my job. I mean, you guys can see I keep rewinding, so I don't actually watch the entirety of this trial anymore. Only when I get up here. Let me not say only when I get up here. Sometimes I do have it playing in the background. I think on Tuesday I had it playing in the background, but I had to cut it short because I'm not able to focus on my work. What's the question? I forgot. I'm not
Other people who's been on the witness stand, one person, yes.
Who's that?
Sarah Levinson.
How long have you known Sarah?
We became friends in middle.
Jackson, you're not helping yourself. Let this woman get off the stand. Dang, she's there for quite some time though. Let her get off the stand and move on. Because you guys should not have, you definitely should not have questioned this woman personally. You should have gotten an investigator, gotten somebody else, because you just made this mess.
Did you watch any of this trial?
Clips in passing, but no, it's 6 hours a day. So I work during the day shift now.
So you've seen some of the footage of the goings on in this case, correct?
Yes, nothing with her. I did not watch her testimony.
Were you aware there was a sequestration order?
This is your
I don't know what that
witness.
means, so no.
You're a sworn peace officer. You don't know what sequestration means
No.
in terms of witnesses?
No.
Not watching the proceedings?
This is
Know
your
what to
witness.
affect their testimony?
No, I wasn't aware.
But you did tune in to the case, correct?
In small clips, yes.
This is your witness.
And you did, in fact.
I don't even know what you're trying to argue or how you're going to argue about her during closing. You can say, oh, she did not follow the sequestration order, but it's your witness.
On August 9th, 2023, had a fulsome conversation with two sworn police officers about your memory of what you saw, your observations on January 29th, 2022, correct?
I don't know if they're police officers necessarily, but yes.
Law enforcement agents, how about that?
Yes.
And that conversation is reflected in this piece of paper that I just read to you, correct?
Yes.
Alexa, stop.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Okay.
Were you subpoenaed by the Commonwealth in this case?
That's what I said. This is your witness. So this is your witness, Jackson. So you, this is your witness.
Rules were?
No, and I wasn't part of the first trial, so I had no idea about anything to do with this trial.
When you spoke to those law enforcement officers back in 2023, do you know that they made a report?
I'm
where
glad, Brooklyn. I think a lot of us have the Karen retrial fatigue. We're tired. We want to move on to more things. Lori Vallow Daybell has been up to some stuff. I cannot wait to get over there. Today's what? Thursday? So on Wednesday or Tuesday, she was wheeled into court. She was in a wheelchair. Yesterday, she refused to go to court, and there's a lot going on. But I'm tired of the Karen retrial. I'm ready to move on to something else.
you had informed them that you knew Sarah Levinson and that report had been
Hold on,
With
what?
this trial. And I was
fairly informed you about what the ground rules were?
no, and I wasn't part of the first trial, so I had no idea about anything to do with this trial.
When you
Oh,
spoke
Brooklyn,
to,
I just talked about that a little bit. I watched I watch Lori. She has a lot going. We need to move on to Lori. I mean, tonight we'll stick to Karen Reed, but I really want to move on to Lori.
Those law enforcement officers back in 2023, do you know that they made a report where you had informed them that you knew Sarah Levinson, and that report had been provided to the defense a long time ago? Did you know that?
Yes, I informed them very clearly.
So the question about if you know Sarah Levinson, that's no secret in your world, is it?
In that form, I'll sustain it.
That isn't a secret, is it?
Not at all.
That's something you were open and candid about?
Yes,
Do you understand that regardless of what you say, it doesn't matter as long as it's the truth? Do you understand that?
yes,
The Commonwealth in no way is asking you to accommodate it or please it in any way. Do you understand that?
yes,
If there was something that may be perceived by others as adverse to the Commonwealth, you understand we would want you to tell that if it was the truth, don't you?
Sustained.
You understand, well, the Commonwealth has never intimated, suggested, or advised you to say anything other than the truth, have they?
no,
Have you been given any consideration or reward because you remedied your memory?
no,
After being shown the evidence that you left that day, January 29, 2022 at 3:45, and learning that the defendant's car did not get to the Sallyport at 5:30 or so p.m., is there any way you could have seen Mr. Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins in the Sallyport with the defendant's car that night before you left for work?
there is no way.
Understanding you made a mistake, was the defense receptive to your explanation that you made a mistake?
Objection.
Sustained in that form.
Did the defense pressure you when you told them you were going to come into this court and tell the truth about your mistake?
Objection.
No, allow it.
Maybe not pressure.
Can you rephrase it?
Yes. When you told the defense you had made a
The
mistake about your
word
memory,
pressure is what I personally have a problem with.
did they pressure you?
I still have problems with the word pressure. Yeah, I still have I have problems with that.
Yes,
Did they pressure you to say something other than the truth?
yes, they wanted me to repeat a lie at that point, given it would have been with malicious intent to repeat it.
Understand.
I have no idea why Alan Jackson and them put her on the stand. I don't know. I don't understand what they were expecting or what they were hoping for, because that did not work out in their favor. They should not have put. Listen, the defense has not even that. The defense absolutely has no duty in this case. They have zero duty. They don't even have to do anything. They have enough to work with. Because they have enough to work with, I do not know why they have gone out to sometimes complicate the case more than it has to be complicated. And complicated, I mean, I don't know why they've decided to kind of put a lens on themselves and Karen Reed when it's easily avoidable.
A
All
lawyer.
they really have to do is just focus on the prosecution, focus on law enforcement, focus on what they did not do. And that should be sufficient. I don't know why they're doing all these extra maneuvers. I don't understand this. I don't know. I don't know where in law school, law school doesn't actually teach you about, they don't teach you about practice, but I still do. I don't understand this.
Has no power to charge.
What's the question?
Understanding
And it would have been with malicious intent to repeat it.
Understanding a lawyer has no power to charge with contempt. Does that change the reality of whether or not you were threatened? Let me ask it a different way. You were asked questions about whether or not you knew who could take out charges for a crime. Yes?
Yes,
Okay. Regardless of whether an attorney has that power, were you threatened that there would be a charge of perjury if you didn't comply with the defense wishes in this case?
yes,
And knowing you were going to come into court, given this experience you had with the defense, Is that why you felt like they were going to tear you? Is
Wait,
that the
what's
phrase we used? You? Is that why you felt like they were going to tear you?
He said a new asshole.
Is that the phrase we used?
Yes, because they did not want me to tell the truth.
Dang.
So I told them that knowing they were kind of trying to eat me alive.
Listen, these people, I do not know. I do not know who possessed who or who told who to put this woman on the stand. This is the one person. As much as they don't want to put Proctor on the stand because there's an expectation that Proctor is going to testify and talk about how everything that he did was in line with his training, blah, blah, blah. They should not have put this woman on the stand.
Into repeating something that is not the truth.
Rather than to come in here and be attacked, wouldn't it have been easier just to
Not object to attack.
said what you had earlier thought was true?
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
Yeah, that comes in. That is a fantastic question. That is a really, really good question. So pretty much what Brennan is showing is that even though Callie Dever knew she knew that getting on the stand and testifying in line with what she testified into, they were going to rip her a new one. She took the chance. Not even she took the chance. She braved up, got on the stand, let Jackson lay into her, and she stuck to whatever her truth was. That's actually
Wouldn't it be easier just to come in and accommodate them rather than be threatened?
Well, of course.
So why
That
did
is
you
a good
come in
question.
here?
And that's why I keep saying, if you are a Karen Reed supporter, you're not gonna like Hank Brennan, but Hank Brennan is really brilliant. He has really, really good trial skills.
My entire job revolves around what I say on the stand right now. If I was to lie, I lose my job. I lose everything. I'm here to tell the truth. I cannot lie while sitting on the stand.
Thank you.
One question.
Okay.
Your entire job
Brennan, Jackson, just sit down.
revolves around what you say on the witness stand. Is that what you just testified to?
Yes.
And if you agree that what you said to those two law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, you would be implicating not one, but two police officers, law enforcement officers, correct? If you agreed with what you said in August of 2023 on this witness stand, you would be implicating two officers, fellow officers, correct?
So I'm confused as to what you're asking.
You would be implicating, if you agree with me, you have not agreed that that was the truth. You've now indicated that what you told to law enforcement agents in August of 2023 was a lie.
No,
If you agreed with that statement here on the witness stand, you would be implicating two
Oh,
officers
Callie's
as having
here.
been in the Sally Port, weirdly.
Dang, Callie's here. What's up, Callie? Callie is here. Okay, Brooklyn saying Brennan is a very good attorney. He's good. He is really good. He's the type of person, and what makes him good is the fact that he has a very difficult case. But even regardless of how difficult his case is, he's still able to elicit testimony that is favorable to the prosecution. But the case is difficult. This Karen Reed case is difficult. This is a case that would probably, if I was a prosecutor on this case, I'd probably be throwing up every freaking day before I get into the courtroom because it has a lot of issues. It has a lot of issues. Okay, so Callie, this is Officer Dever. I need to get it right. Callie, you're gonna have to watch the replay because she's a firecracker. She's a firecracker. I don't know why the defense put on the stand, but it did not go too well. Did not go too well. So Kelly says, I mean, technically she can lie. She just shouldn't lie. All right. Yeah, we have Jason back in here. I sent him an email. I'm like, man, let me see what Jason is up to.
Incredibly long time with the SUV, implicating not one, but two fellow officers, correct? That's what you would be doing.
I don't know. Okay, let's let her testify. Let's let her
It's
testify.
not possible I saw
If you
that.
agreed with me,
Objection.
would you be implicating the reputations of 2 officers?
If I was to lie, then yes.
And your entire job revolves around what you say on that witness stand. That's what you said, correct?
You say
I'm
it.
still,
That's what you just said, Officer Dever, correct?
I still don't really understand the question.
You just said, all I'm asking you is what you just said. I wrote it down. You just said, my entire job revolves around what I
That's
say
pretty
on the witness
obvious.
stand. Correct?
Yes to that
Thank
question.
you. That's all I have.
I don't know, Jackson. You can raise your voice. You can do this and that. You should not have put this witness on the stand. Under no circumstances should you have rested with this witness.
I'm confused. When you spoke to those agents, you didn't implicate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The problem for me is that word implicate, because it's the word implicate. Because anyways, it's clear. Let's let Brennan do his job.
Berkowitz and Mr. Higgins was doing anything
Right.
criminal, did you?
No, they were friends. That's why Higgins had an office there.
You didn't implicate them ever suggesting they had tampered with evidence, did you?
No,
You never implicated them saying that they had framed anybody, did you?
no,
So when you talked to those agents, did you ever suggest that Mr. Higgins and Mr. Berkowitz did anything to touch or tamper with the defendant's Lexus at all?
no.
Never.
No.
Is there anybody you're protecting?
I have no one to protect.
Do you need to protect anybody?
No.
All right, Officer Dever, you are awesome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh,
All right,
my
jurors,
wait, what?
we'll take our morning recess,
Oh.
20 minutes.
Recess. Yeah, Cali folks, Brooklyn said boom. I don't know what Brooklyn said boom to, but Brooklyn said boom, and that's how we're gonna end the live. Boom. I'm glad we had a chance to go back and listen to a testimony in its entirety, because again, the only thing that I heard from Monday or watched from Monday was when David Muir on the news. That's when I knew, I'm like, this is on the news. I was trying to catch up with what's happening in the world. And David Muir had Officer Dever not on the stand. I mean, they played a short clip of her. I probably have to go back to that clip just to go read the comments, because I don't quite remember why they thought it was important or critical or why it made the news, but it did. Other than that, so far it's a good trial, but I'm really tired. I'm tired of the trial, even though it's a really good trial. Okay. And then Brooklyn says, I think they wanted her to testify that the FBI was involved. I don't think so. I think the real question, what they wanted her to testify to, is just that statement that Higgins and somebody else were in the Sally Port by themselves. She thought that it was weird. That's what they wanted her to testify to, because that is in line with what is this? That is in line with their theory of the case, that the officers were planting evidence. So, all right, folks, let us cap it off here. I need to go. I'm parenting all day. I parent all the time, even when I'm in my sleep. So I'm heading off. Hopefully I don't get too burnt. We're out there. We're outside. Shout out to the replay crew. We will reconvene tonight at 8:30 p.m. Tonight, let's see, what are we covering tonight? There's a lot we've not touched on. I believe we're going to have limited time. This guy, I did not watch his testimony. I watched the voir dire on his testimony. Is actually quite short, but knowing me, short testimony can end up being an hour long. Okay, so I want to touch on him. No, that does not sound right. That does not sound right. So we will revisit his testimony. She's done. Let's just quickly go to, oh, my alarms are going crazy. I'm so sorry for the people that are listening to this and my alarms are just going off. That's typically how it goes. This was yesterday. I did not watch yesterday. Okay, I know who that is. I did not watch yesterday. Okay, something interesting is going on there. Is that a Lessie? I don't know. They have somebody else on the stand. There's somebody else I want to get to. I think today's what? Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. So I believe it's Tuesday. Tuesday, I think we want to get to this guy. Yeah. We want to get to him. We want to get to him. So that's what we're doing tonight. I believe, isn't he a police officer? Something along those lines. I don't remember. But that's what we're getting to today. I don't know. I'm chaperoning. I know that I'm going to be listening to Karen Reed while I'm out there with my daughter and her little friends. Yeah. So that's that. All right, Jason. Jason's showing me some love. Okay, so that is Sergeant Barrows, apparently the best witness so far. Okay, so that's who we're getting to today. Unless something out of the ordinary happens or transpires during today's proceedings. But so far, we're going to cover Sergeant Barrows, and then we're going to go back to, oh, there's no court today? Okay, I guess we have time to catch up. What day is it? Thursday? Why is there no court on Thursday? I don't get that. I don't get that. All right, so that's what we're gonna get into. I need to go, guys. I need to go. I need to go. I need to go stop at some. I need to stop at a store and get some waters and stuff. It's hot. It is hot. Okay, I'm off. You guys have a fantastic day. Let us reconvene tonight. I'm gonna try and knock out some more of the Diddy clips. I'm gonna knock out some more of the Diddy clips, and I've also been following the. I only remember the victim's case, the victim's name, the Sade. I think it's Sade Robertson or Sade Robinson. I don't remember the defendant's name. Matt something. I've been following that trial here and there. There's a lot going on in the world. Okay, there's a lot going on in the world of criminal courts. They still have Antoine. Antoine Massey, he's still on the run out there in New Orleans. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to cover. Unfortunately, I'm one person. I do have a real job, and I'm not able to cover all of it. But I think though we have to segue to Lori. There's no way we can skip Lori. We need to get to Lori somehow. Maybe we get to Lori this weekend. Anyways, let me think about my availability. We'll take it from there. I need to go, guys. You guys have a fantastic day. We reconvene tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I apologize for all the alarms, but that's how I keep myself on track. Thanks for watching.